أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The sign you see is called a pentacle and is used by sorcerers, wizards. The figurine inside the star represents the person targeted by this witchcraft. This is a ruqya. The ruqya concerns a young man of about 13 years old, AA, this is initial R, AA, who plays in a small local football team and whose symptoms are no concentration at school when he only got A and B. He holds head and in heads and sits for 15 to 30 minutes, walk up and down aimlessly, prone to nightmare, feeling something or someone touch him, isolate himself and talks about himself alone at times, very violent abdominal pain for which hospitals had not found the cause or causes. Often cries for no reason and think about suicide. He treated his hair, curling up. One day during a match, he saw a boy dressed in a hood with red shoes passing in front of him, and this same person found himself in front of him during the compositions, and as soon as he saw him, he realized that his classmate has the answer writing down. Then his own sheet was filled in with correct answers without remembering having picked up the pen himself. For no reason, his sister, whom he loves very much, and throws his satchel at his older sister, hides drumming under the parental bed, and all that he has no memory of. AA has had this symptom for 25 years, 25 days, sorry. His father read the Quran on him, and AA rushed at him, threatening to bite him. He does not remember anything about this episode. I tell AA, his initial, to close his eyes and tell the Jinn, who I suppose is still inside, to talk to me. I use this method, which consists is if the presence of the Jinn is certain from the symptom, to make the Jinn with ease by explaining Islam to him and showing him that his presence is unacceptable from the religious point of view and peaceful coexistence. He has no religion. I threaten him and he goes out through the window that I opened for this purpose. I reread the Quran for 3/4 of an hour and no reaction occurred. The next day, during the ruqya, which aroused some reactions, I told AA to close his eyes for the consultation and let the Jinn talk to me. But basically, it was the Jinn that I invited to communicate. No answer and insisted with good manners. Then the Jinn gave signs that can be seen on the face or on the members of his body, a body. Presupposing his presence, I start a dialogue. MC is myself, and DG is the Jinn. Okay, I start. If you don't want to talk to me, that's your right, but at least answer with a no and yes. If you don't want to say your name, it does not commit you to anything. The Jinn no with his head. Then his tongue loosened and he answered my question. He and David possessed AA during a 3-day trip with the school to Wales. AA and another student gone in the near forest to pee, this is a pure lie. There they found a cave entrance which led them to an esplanade in the middle of which were the remains of a still hot wood fire, surrounded by scattered objects, but no people was present. Jinn prefer gloomy place and ruins. For the story, these two students had taken torches with them. Okay, we started the ruqya. I spoke to him about Islam, which he promised to think about, and he, especially, left with my threats in mind that if he returned, I came back to see him after 2 weeks at the request of his father. AA complains about pain in his epigastrum as well as a headache. The day before, he has got angry and threw himself and his father to bite him, shouting to him, "I hate you." It's the jinn who reacts against his enemy, who is the father who helped his son out of this tribulation. So I start ruqya by reading the Quran for 30 minutes, then I opt for the direct method as started before. The jinn answer, "We possessed him in the cave because they disturbed us. I am in his brain, and the other are one in his stomach, one in his left wrist, one in his ear, and one in his mouth." Actually suffered from these ailments, and there are memory, twisted mouth, and others. A ruqya was scheduled a few days later, because indeed a jinn appeared by strangling AA, who was suffocating. During the ruqya, AA shows me his middle back. With my first fist clenched, I hit this place, and on the 5 times AA coughed loudly, staggering, half groggy. After that, AA had no reaction. Another ruqya, so I found AA sitting in his raised bed, refusing any discussion with his father and myself. He wanted to leave the family home, arguing that his whole family is against him, which is not true, wanting his money and not respecting his private life. These complaints are instigated by the jinn. He refused the ruqya, claiming that there is no more jinn within him. I read the Quran to him for a distance, but he created noise by constantly wrestling and singing, tapping on the wall, tapping and all that, while hiding under the blanket, which forced me to stop the ruqya, unfortunately. Three days later, his father called me, saying AA would like me to come back. AA did not remember anything about his bad behavior. I came back to see AA claiming some business to settle in the surrounding, and so as not to wake to wake up and alarm the jinn, because maybe he will go. His father was aware of the scheme. As I said, AA confirmed to me that he did not remember anything that happened during the last Ruqya. His parents, mother, fathers, brothers, had told him about his behavior. He asked his father to apologize to me. In the Ruqya, this behavior and others are commonplace, and we know full well that the person was forced without his will, so no excuse to be done or asked. I reread the whole Surah Baqarah to him, and I didn't flinch. I did use it that the jinn left before or after the Ruqya. The father of AA told me about his daughter, R.B., her initial is R.B., who has autism that appeared when she was 2.5 years old, and that is when autism strikes children. She is 16 years old, but her condition has changed, and he is enrolled in a specialized school. She can speak, write, and coordinate her thoughts. We can see, according to her parents, that she is 80% better. Only her condition make her naive. From time to time, she looks at her hands and turns them. She fixed her gaze on the ceiling. She was levitated at the age of 4 and 5 years old, rising up to 50 centimeters from the bed. Her parents have photographed her, but have not been able to show me the photos at this time. She avoids eye contact, which is a sign of autism. Her parents want me to give her a hijama, this application of suction cups with scarification, and this following case of autism for which the hijama has brought a small improvement. I had observed and met the Ruqya to many children between 6 and 12 years old who played with imaginary friends. These children talk to themselves, and when asked who they are talking to, they answer with my imagination. The imaginator is not other than a jinn, generally on the same time, that has fun with him and recommends him not to reveal his presence to others. Otherwise, he will leave him to have fun alone. The problem with RB will be to make her admit, if so, the presence of this friend or friends. I tell the parent to play a scenario in her presence by telling their experience, as well as mine, about our respective imaginary friend. What was done, and RB, in her naivety, jumped up and told us about her secret friend Alice. She told us the following. Alice does not love RB's mother. They play together when they are alone in her home. Alice is 19 years old. She prevents her from going to school on Monday and Tuesday, which is true. She is stressed on Sundays at Maghrib time from the arrival of Alice. RB wakes up 3 times at night. 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m., 9:45 p.m. Going to toilet. She is not diabetic, and in my opinion, it was Alice who woke up her by pressing on her bladder. I read her Quran twice, and RB, by her naivety, informed me that her friend, Alice, leaves the living room and goes to the toilet. The Prophet Muhammad advised us to say this supplication before entering the toilet. I seek the protection of Allah against the male and female evil spirit. And we go as said, Astaghfirullah. I push Arby to hate Alice, reminding her, who is an enemy of your mother, that she does not want you to progress in your life by preventing you from learning in order to work in office to earn money, who allows you to buy what you want. It is the level of word that Arby can understand. She nodded. Then she spread Quranised water on Alice, whom she sees, but not us. She tells us that the Jinnia, female spirit, has stood aside and from afar. Arby represents us by saying that the other is a boy called Omar, whom I had admonished. I want to see Arby again, who told me Omar hadn't come back. I suppose that my speech concerning the closeness and isolation between women and men would have made Omar think that it will be good not to approach Arby anymore. A few days later, Arby's father called me to tell me what his brother told him about his mother, what his mother told him about his brother and his daughter Arby. The story is, she was introduced by a man, rather she was as visited a clairvoyant, Sahir, who said to her, your grandson's, Arby's uncle, is affected by something in his right cuff which prevents him from getting married. Arby, at the age of 4, had food intended for her parents, and also something entered in her cerebellum, according to this charlatan. Sometimes after, Arby cried that Alice came back, and she saw her, I think a vision, that she is lodged in her head, which caused her immense pain, headache. Her mother massaged her head with oil that I had Quranised. Alice ran away, never to return to this day. A few years later, A.'s father told me that his son has fully recovered and is practicing his favorite sport. Praise to Allah, through whom good things come. For parents, go especially visit Muhammad Chekar, Evil Eye. Muhammad Chekar, Muhammad Chekar, Chekar, and Muhammad Chekar, Evil Eye, especially for the parents who have children. It will help you very, very much. سبحان الله وبحمده أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.